This video is going to be on purchase orders on thunderpos.net/the back office. This is the third video in our series on the back office. The first two on items and customers should already be available, and there will be more forthcoming. I flip over here to our web browser. As with all the videos in this series, I'm using a web browser on a desktop computer, but the site will fully work on mobile. So phone, tablet, your own desktop or laptop. You don't have to be at the store or anything, just wherever, it'll work totally fine. This video is going to cover full purchase orders. For instant purchase orders, that's actually covered under items because you do it from the items details screen. So to get to purchase orders, you just click purchase orders over here on the left. On mobile, it'll be along the top that you'll have a button to bring down the menu, just the little hamburger menu with the 3 lines. Click that and you'll get the option. And once you get to purchase order, you'll see all of your current ones, their status, vendors, anything like that. And you're just going to want to hit create. You're going to create a new one. You're going to get the ability to fill in all your details here. Same as you would within the Windows version, but you have to select a vendor. One will be pre-selected for you, even if it's just the default no vendor. And you have to fill in a due date, but the rest of it's just optional. It's strictly for your information. There's no other use for it other than to make it easier for you to organize your purchase orders. So then create it. And then it'll take you to the screen where you can actually add items. And you can either add items by scanning them here and then clicking add item to just add in that individual item. It'll be new by default, but you can check use to make it a used item that you're adding. Or you can hit search. And we're going to add some through searching here in a moment, but I'm just going to go over the rest of this screen right now. Receive all will take all of the items on your purchase order and set the received quantity equal to the quantity that you've ordered. It's the exact same as receiving all within the system. But one thing that should be mentioned here is, unlike in the Windows client, the purchase order here automatically saves as you go. And that's so if the browser gets closed out or anything, it's still going to be saved. But it does mean as soon as you receive it, it's going to be in your inventory. If you receive a negative quantity, it'll take it back out. But just be aware of that fact, that the moment that you receive it, it's going to be in inventory for you. Finalize, as I mentioned, we'll close it out. And then hide details will just show or hide the details right here. Just to make the screen a little easier to browse through. And then edit details, of course, will just let you change these details we had set earlier. So if we click search here, it's going to take us to a list of our items in this system. It's going to give you an option on each of them to add new or add used. And adding new will add new copies of this to your purchase order. Add used will add used copies. You can have both new and used of the same item on the same purchase order if you're doing that for whatever reason. Most of the time, purchase orders are going to just be new, but we do have customers who order used in from a company such as Bree Software, or by getting items off of eBay or that kind of thing to fill in if people aren't trading enough to make sure that you have inventory to draw people into the store. So we're just going to grab this test item that we'd set up earlier for the tutorial. We're going to add just 10 of it to the purchase order. And then we'll just grab a different item and just add, we'll add 5 of this one used to the purchase order. And then you can just keep adding items. You can filter it with the stuff at the top. So search. Just a search string, which will, same as on the item screen, will search your name, your description, department, category, item ID fields, your primary vendor, whether it's under the reorder level or not. And then you can also just go back to details, which will just take you back to this purchase order. And you'll see here that we've got these 2 items. We don't have a cost on either of them, and that's because it defaulted to the cost that was set on the item, which we didn't have one. So if we just want to change that cost, we can just hit edit. It's going to first ask us to verify the quantity, but once you verify the quantity, you can change the cost. Change it to 2, for example, on this first item. So we can see now that, it's 2 per and then $20 total. We'll do the same on the other item. We'll make it $5 per. And then you can delete an item off of there. You can receive an individual item, or again, at the top, you can receive all items. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to decide, oh, this item isn't coming, or we didn't mean to add this, so we'll delete off this 6 item. It's going to ask us to verify that, so we'll say yes. And then we'll just receive this other item. We're going to get all 10 copies, and then we're going to actually finalize this purchase order. And once it's finalized, we can't change it anymore. So it's going to let us see the details, but we can no longer delete items, add items, none of that. And then if we go to this item, which you can do just by clicking on the item ID there, it'll take you to that particular item. If we go to that item, we're going to go to the history of that item, and then we're going to be able to see the purchase order ID here, and that we got 10 of them in for $2 per. And then we're going to just go back over to purchase orders here. You'll see that by default here, you can no longer edit it. You can just view it, and then you can actually hide closed ones here at the top. So if you hide the closed ones, that one's gone entirely. And that's pretty much it for purchase orders. If you have any questions about that, just let us know.